Jesus loves you, and so do I. This is Teacher Rona, your teacher in English, praying that all is well with you today. Are you ready and excited to learn? For this week, our lesson is about using context clues. As you watch and listen to this video, I want you to be reminded with 4 simple tips for you to understand our lesson. First, stay in your comfortable place. Second, avoid doing unnecessary things like playing. Third, take down notes, especially the important things. And fourth, always remember the concept that you've learned from the video. Before we begin our lesson, let me give you some questions that we will have the answers later. First, what are context clues? Second question, how can understanding or using context clues make me a better reader? Now I have here a sentence that we will use for you to understand our lesson. Katie was aggravated when her little sister kept messing up her room. In this sentence, aggravated, this word aggravated may be an unfamiliar word to you, and you may have trouble in sounding it out. To understand this sentence, we will use the context clues. Okay, so now what do we mean with context clues? When we say context clues, those are hints that a reader can use to discover the meaning of unfamiliar words or phrases. Yes, you heard it right. Discover. Because in reading, we should look for clues to discover meanings of words that we don't know. I know that you know what clue is, but let us define the word context. Context is like the setting of a word. You can probably guess what is missing from a picture based on the setting or context around the missing object. So I have here a picture. What can you observe from the picture? You got it right! This is a doghouse. So what is missing in this picture? Correct! A dog is missing in this picture because a dog lives in a doghouse. Using context clues is similar. Con is a prefix meaning with. Text means written words. As a reader, you are looking for clues within the written words to help you understand unfamiliar words or phrases. So let's go back to the sentence that we have earlier. Now, how will you know where to find those clues? A word context includes words and sentences around it. This is where you can find clues to the meanings of a word that you don't know. Okay, from this sentence, what clues do you see? Well, we know that Katie was something. Let's just say something because we're trying to know what aggravated means. So, we need to read the rest of the sentence to figure it out. When her little sister kept messing up her room. So what could Katie be if her little sister is messing up her room? We can say she's mad, frustrated, or no, it starts with letter A, maybe angry. In reading a sentence, you should read it with sense. Aggravated makes sense when you consider the context. Authors use different kinds of context clues. They might use examples, synonyms, antonyms, or even definition. For instance, in example, the restaurant ambience includes its white music, flowers, and candlelight, made the perfect place for Valentine's Day. If you don't know what ambience is, the examples are quiet music, flowers, and candlelight let you know that ambience is a special atmosphere or mood of a particular environment. Some authors use synonyms or words mean almost the same thing. For example, the child's ability to perform gymnastics was apparent or obvious at an early age. If you are unfamiliar with the word apparent, the synonym clue obvious makes this sentence easy to understand. Other authors may use antonyms to help the readers grasp the unfamiliar words by stating the opposite. For example, Carla was meticulous with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph, who scribbled all over the page. If you don't know what meticulous means, the antonym phrase scribbled all over would let you know that Carla was neat and careful with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph. Sometimes, authors actually provide definitions within the text if using less common words. For example, Abby was repulsed by the spider crawling up her arm. She had a feeling of disgust and dislike. If you are unfamiliar with the word repulse, the author clearly defines it as feeling of disgust and dislike. This time, let us read a paragraph. It was time for the band to march on the field. The crowd was ecstatic. People screamed and cheered, showing their excitement. The music intensified or increased in volume. Unlike her timid friends, Morgan was unafraid to perform in front of the roaring crowd. After the show, the crowd gave standing ovation. The fans stood and clapped to show their appreciation for such a great performance. As you can observe, there are underlined words. Those words are actually unfamiliar to you. Now let us unlock the definition of those words. So let's take the first one. The crowd was ecstatic. People screamed and cheered, showing their excitement. So what do we mean by ecstatic? To get the clues, we need to read the remaining words in the sentence. People screamed and cheered, showing their excitement. We can say that ecstatic means excited because we give examples of feeling of unexcited, which are screamed and cheered. Now let's say the second one. The music intensified or increased in volume. So what do we mean by the word intensified? As you can see, we have here the word increased, which is synonymous to the word intensified. Let's have the third one. Unlike her timid friends, Morgan was unafraid to perform in front of the roaring crowd. Let's use the antonyms. What could be the opposite meaning of the word timid? You got it right! It is unafraid. Why? Because Morgan was unafraid to perform in front of the roaring crowd, unlike her friends who are timid, or shall I say, afraid or shy. Lastly, we use the context clues definition. After the show, the crowd gave standing ovation. The fans stood and clapped to show their appreciation for such a great performance. It is obvious that the word ovation is defined as stood and clapped. Why? Because after we witness a show or a performance, we stood and clapped to show our appreciation for such a great performance. Do you understand? Remember, context clues are hints that a reader can use to discover the meaning of unfamiliar words or phrases. Also, authors use different kinds of context clues, including examples, synonyms, antonyms, or even definition. Now that we have finished our discussion, I want you to answer some activities in your book and what I have prepared. Just look for the study guide in order for you to be guided for what are the things that you will do for the entire week. I hope you learned much. Remember to stay godly and excellent. Jesus loves you, and so do I.